There is only one trade law in the galaxy. It isn't written in the Concord archives of the Velthari Combine. It isn't enforced by the Tark Dominion Navy. It isn't debated in the luminous chambers of the Council of 12,000 Systems. It is whispered, passed from freighter captain to dock worker, from pirate lord to planetary governor, from AI to AI across encrypted void channels. It has only 5 words: don't cross human territory. No one remembers exactly when it became law. Some say it started with a convoy that vanished near the Perseus Drift. Others insist it began when the Karthik Guild tried to impose tariffs on a species they thought primitive. The official records are unclear. The unofficial ones are not. The first mistake was underestimation. When humanity joined the galactic stage, they were late. Painfully late. Warp travel had existed for 4,000 cycles. Quantum slipgates stitched together the inner sectors. Trade lanes pulsed with traffic measurable in the billions of vessels per standard rotation. Humans arrived with chemical rockets in their history logs and fusion drives barely competitive with second-tier powers. Their ships were ugly, blocky, over-armored, inefficient. They did not glow with elegant plasma sails. They did not hum with harmonic singularity cores. They did not display diplomatic colors along their hulls. They were gray, steel gray, and quiet. The Council classified humanity as a minor developing species and granted them provisional trade access along the Orion Corridor. It was considered charity. The corridor was unstable and riddled with gravitational shear pockets that discouraged major freight traffic. Humans accepted without complaint. That was the second mistake. Within 10 cycles, the Orion Corridor became the safest trade route in the mid-rim sectors. Piracy dropped to 0, smuggling rings dissolved, insurance rates plummeted. The reason was simple. Humans escorted every ship. Not some ships. Every ship. Freighters entering the corridor were met by human patrol craft, thick-hulled, railgun-bristling, sensor-dense vessels that flew in disciplined formations. They did not charge protection fees. They did not demand allegiance. They simply said, "You are under Terran escort until you clear our space." At first, other powers found it amusing. Protection without profit? Military presence without expansion? No territorial taxation? Naive. But trade volume through Orion tripled, then quadrupled, then surpassed the core lanes. The Karthik Guild noticed. The guild controlled 70% of interstellar freight licensing. Their economy depended on regulated choke points and mandatory passage tariffs. A free corridor was not merely competition, it was rebellion. The guild's response was measured. 3 enforcement cruisers entered Orion Corridor under legal authority to inspect compliance structures. They never reached the midpoint. The guild later claimed they were lost in gravitational turbulence. The humans released sensor logs proving otherwise. The cruisers had powered weapons inside Terran-claimed escort space. Terran response time was 8 seconds. 8. The engagement lasted 42. All 3 cruisers were disabled, not destroyed, disabled with surgical precision. Engines severed, weapons slagged, life support intact. Human transmission to the Guild flagship. You have crossed into protected trade space with hostile posture. You are disarmed. Retrieve your vessels and depart. Further aggression will escalate. The Guild laughed. Then they sent a fleet. This is where the law truly began. The Battle of the Silent Span lasted 3 hours and 17 minutes. Guild fleet strength, 42 cruisers, 9 carrier platforms, 600 autonomous strike craft. Terran fleet strength, 12 escort frigates, 4 heavy destroyers, 1 dreadnought. The dreadnought's name was TSS Indomitable. Guild analysts assumed it was symbolic exaggeration. It was not. The Indomitable did not maneuver. It did not dodge. It advanced. Guild plasma lances struck its forward armor at full yield. The hull glowed white. It did not slow. Then the railguns began. Human railguns are not elegant weapons. They are kinetic theology. Nickel-iron projectiles accelerated to fractional light speed do not negotiate. They do not warn. They arrive. Guild carriers split apart under impacts that defied shield harmonics. Strike craft evaporated mid-vector. Cruisers attempting flanking maneuvers discovered Terran destroyers had mined probable approach vectors hours earlier. Humans had predicted every tactic. The Guild retreated. 27 did not make it out. The Indomitable sustained cosmetic hull ablation. After the battle, humanity transmitted a single open-channel statement across all frequencies. Trade is welcome. Aggression is not. Orion Corridor remains open. Respect our boundaries. It was not a threat. It was clarification. The Council convened emergency hearings. The Tark Dominion argued that humanity had used disproportionate force. The Velthari Combine countered that the Guild had initiated armed incursion. Smaller powers remained silent, because every merchant captain in the Mid-Rim had already chosen a side. Trade through human space surged again. Insurance consortiums adjusted risk matrices. A new clause appeared in standard shipping contracts. Routes passing within Terran-claimed sectors require compliance with human escort protocol. Then came the pirates, not desperate raiders, not fringe opportunists, a coalition. The Black Nebula Cartel assembled the largest non-state fleet in recorded history. They reasoned that humans could not protect every lane simultaneously, strike multiple convoys at once, overwhelm patrol capacity. They coordinated attacks across 6 entry vectors. They did not realize humans had already mapped their staging grounds. Terran response ships emerged not from patrol routes, but from deep space dark zones the cartel believed unmonitored. The first pirate flotilla was neutralized before transmitting distress. The second fled, straight into a waiting destroyer screen. The third attempted surrender. Humans accepted, then arrested every vessel and dismantled the cartel infrastructure node by node. Within a single cycle, piracy in the Orion-adjacent sectors dropped below statistical noise. That was when the phrase began circulating among traders: "Don't cross human territory." It wasn't about fear, it was about predictability. Human space was consistent. You followed the rules, you were protected. You broke them, you were stopped. No bribes, no shifting regulations, no hidden tariffs, just enforcement. Other empires began noticing something more unsettling. Human territory was expanding, not through conquest, through invitation. Border systems petitioned for Terran protection charters. Independent colonies requested escort treaties. Even minor species previously under Guild economic pressure sought human arbitration. Humans accepted, but with conditions. No slavery, no predatory trade monopolies, no territorial aggression launched from within Terran protection zones. Some major powers scoffed at the moral stipulations. Then they noticed something else. Economic growth within Terran-aligned systems outpaced the core by 18% annually. Why? Stability. Human ships patrolled not just space, but data lanes. Cyber intrusion attempts were countered with aggressive traceback strikes. Smuggling networks were exposed and dismantled with forensic precision. Humans treated trade security like warfare, because to them, it was. The final confirmation of the law came from the Tark Dominion. Unlike the Guild, the Dominion did not believe in half measures. They believed in overwhelming force. A Dominion Grand Armada, 300 warships, entered the far edge of Terran-aligned space under the pretense of navigational recalibration. Humans issued a warning. Adjust course, you are approaching sovereign patrol boundary. The Dominion did not adjust. Human fleets did not mobilize immediately. Instead, something else happened. The Dominion's supply ships began failing. Fuel deposits in previously secure space detonated due to maintenance irregularities. Navigation buoys transmitted corrupted data. Merchant houses suspended Dominion credit lines, citing risk assessment revisions. Within 48 standard hours, the Armada was logistically stranded.
Then the Terran fleet appeared, not from one direction, from all directions. The Dominion commander requested negotiation. Human response: "You crossed into our territory with hostile capacity. Withdraw and we will provide escort. Remain and you will be disarmed." The Dominion withdrew, not because they were defeated in battle, because they realized battle would not be isolated. Human retaliation was systemic, precise, layered, total. After that, the Council codified a new interstellar advisory. Unauthorized armed entry into Terran-protected space constitutes extreme risk action. Merchants shortened it, pirates repeated it, admirals memorized it. Don't cross human territory. And so it became the only trade law that mattered. Not written, not voted, enforced. Years later, a young Velthari trade envoy once asked a human admiral why their species cared so much about protecting strangers' cargo. The admiral considered the question, then answered simply, "Because once, a long time ago, no one protected ours." The envoy did not fully understand, but the galaxy did. In trade hubs light years away, when navigational charts flicker and a route skirts the edge of gray-marked space, captains do not hesitate. They file escort requests, they power down weapons, they comply with Terran protocol. Because in a galaxy of shifting alliances and fragile treaties, there is one certainty. If you are inside human territory, you are either safe or you are already doomed.